Hello, good morning students. Today we are going to start new chapter, elasticity of demand. In the last video we discussed demand analysis. In demand analysis we have also discussed law of demand. Why we need to study elasticity of demand? The question arises. As we have already studied लॉ ऑफ डिमांड क्या करता है? लॉ ऑफ डिमांड एक्सप्रेसेस इनवर्स रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन प्राइस एंड डिमांड, प्राइस राइज, डिमांड फॉल, एक्सेट्रा. ओके, सो देन व्हाई वी नीड टू स्टडी इलास्टिसिटी? द क्वेश्चन. अगर हमने ऑलरेडी लॉ ऑफ डिमांड स्टडी कर लिया है तो इलास्टिसिटी स्टडी करने की जरूरत क्यों है? व्हाई वी नीड टू स्टडी इलास्टिसिटी? Why? Because law of demand indicates generally direction of change in demand. It expresses only direction. Price rises, demand fall. Direction of change in demand. But it does not discuss rate or percentage change in demand. Rate of change in demand. Price 10% change होगी तो डिमांड कितने परसेंट चेंज होगी? दैट इज नॉट डिस्कस इन द लॉ ऑफ डिमांड. टू स्टडी दैट you have to study elasticity of demand. Getting my point? Because law of demand discuss only direction. Price rise, demand fall, price falls, demand rise. But not rate or not proportion or not percentage change in demand. To study that, we have to study elasticity of demand. So as per your syllabus, we will study elasticity of demand. What is elasticity of demand? Simple. In demand function we discuss demand is a function of prices, price, income, taste, preference, etc, etc. So what is elasticity? Elasticity is percentage change in quantity demanded divided by percentage change in determinants of demand. Demand function expresses relationship between demand for the product and determinants of demand, where determinants of demand are independent variable and demand for the product is a determinant variable. So elasticity क्या है? डिमांड डिटर्मिनेंट्स में चेंज होने से डिमांड कैसे चेंज होती है और कितने परसेंटेज चेंज होती है, दैट इज कॉल्ड इलास्टिसिटी ऑफ डिमांड. ओके, परसेंटेज और प्रोपोर्शनेट चेंज इन डिमांड फॉर प्रोडक्ट ड्यू टू परसेंटेज और प्रोपोर्शनेट चेंज इन डिटर्मिनेंट्स ऑफ डिमांड. ओके, सो दिस इज द मीनिंग ऑफ इलास्टिसिटी. ओके, जनरली हम किसी को पूछते हैं व्हाट इज इलास्टिसिटी ऑफ डिमांड, वो सीधा प्राइस इलास्टिसिटी दिखा देता है. नो, प्राइस इलास्टिसिटी इज अ टाइप ऑफ डिमांड एंड वी ऑल नो दैट प्राइस इज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट डिटर्मिनेंट ऑफ डिमांड. सो फर्स्ट टाइप क्या है? प्राइस इलास्टिसिटी ऑफ डिमांड. सेकेंड इज इनकम इलास्टिसिटी ऑफ डिमांड, बिकॉज इनकम इज इक्वली इंपॉर्टेंट. इसके बाद प्राइस ऑफ सब्सटीट्यूट्स एंड प्राइस ऑफ कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री, तो वो क्या हो जाएगा? Cross elasticity of demand. So as per your syllabus we will discuss 4 types of elasticity: price elasticity of demand, income elasticity of demand, cross elasticity of demand, and last, advertising elasticity of demand. Okay, first we will discuss what is price elasticity of demand. Price elasticity of demand means change in quantity demanded due to change in price. जैसे प्राइस चेंज होता है तो डिमांड कैसे चेंज होती है? क्वांटिटी डिमांड. और वेरी टेक्निकल वर्ड, सेंसिटिवनेस और रिस्पॉन्सिवनेस ऑफ डिमांड ड्यू टू चेंज इन प्राइस. हाउ फार डिमांड फॉर द प्रोडक्ट इज रिस्पॉन्डिंग विद द चेंज इन प्राइस. जैसे प्राइस चेंज होता है, डिमांड उससे कैसे रिस्पॉन्ड करता है? वो ज्यादा चेंज होता है, कम चेंज होता है, बिल्कुल चेंज नहीं होता है, दैट इज कॉल्ड प्राइस इलास्टिसिटी. ओके, रिस्पॉन्सिवनेस और सेंसिटिवनेस ऑफ डिमांड ड्यू टू चेंज इन प्राइस ऑफ द प्रोडक्ट, दैट इज कॉल्ड इलास्टिसिटी ऑफ डिमांड. सो द फर्स्ट टाइप is perfectly elastic demand. What is the perfectly elastic? How we draw with the diagram? Here, x-axis represents quantity demanded, and y-axis represents price of the product, OXY. When demand for the product change, even at constant price, okay, or very small price, small change in price, that is called perfectly elastic demand. Huh? When demand for the product change infinitely, प्राइस है पी ओपी, वो कांस्टेंट है, वो नहीं तो इंक्रीज हो रहा डिक्रीज हो रहा है, नहीं इंक्रीज हो रहा है, इट इज कांस्टेंट. Even though demand for the product changes infinitely, either increasing or decreasing, that is called perfectly elastic demand. Price OP fix, Q1, Q2, etc. So that is called perfectly elastic demand. Getting my point? Even at constant price, when demand for the product change, that is called perfectly elastic of demand, and therefore the value of elasticity is infinite. Clear? Second, and very important, is relatively elastic demand. What is relatively elastic demand? Where proportionate change in demand is greater than proportionate change in price, it is called relatively elastic demand. Okay, suppose price rises by 5% and demand falls by 9%, तो इसको क्या बोलेंगे? Relatively elastic demand. Proportionate change in demand is greater than proportionate change in price. How to indicate with the help of diagram? We will discuss. O X Y, quantity demanded, and this is price. वो आपको relatively दिखाना है, so you have to draw a flatter curve, slightly flatter, like this. Demand curve DD. Here demand curve DD. Okay. So here, how to suppose original price is OP, original demand for the product is OQ. Okay. Suppose price falls from OP to OP1 and demand for the product rises from OQ to OQ1. Price falls, demand rises. डायग्राम में आप देख सकते हैं कौन सा डिस्टेंस ज्यादा है? चेंज इन क्वांटिटी वाला. ओके, स्मॉल इंक्रीज इन प्राइस लीड्स टू large increase, small change in price leads to large change in demand. So yeah, suppose this is 5%, this is 10%. Okay, getting my point? Proportionate change in demand is greater than proportionate change in price. When demand for the product changes more than changes in price, that is called relatively elastic demand. And obviously, the value of elasticity in this case is greater than 1. Okay. So this is the second type of elastic. Third, unitary elastic demand. What is unitary elastic demand? Or it is called elasticity is equal to unity. Proportionate change in demand is exactly equal to proportionate change in price. That is called unitary elastic demand. 5% change in demand price leads to exactly 5% change in demand. That is called unitary elastic demand. 5% डिमांड चेंज, प्राइस चेंज होगी तो डिमांड भी एग्जैक्टली 5% चेंज होगी, तो उसको क्या बोलेंगे? यूनिटरी. यूनिट मतलब 1. Elasticity of equal to unity. How can we show in the diagram? X-axis represents quantity demanded y axis represents price. तो इधर you have to draw exactly in the middle. Okay, exactly in the middle. Demand curve DD. P P1 Q Q1. Okay, 5%, 5%. So when you use pencil and ruler etc., with the help of this you can draw exact diagram. Okay, but just for your explanation here, that your x-axis represents quantity demanded, y-axis represents price. Original price is OP, original demand is OQ. As price falls from OP to OP1, demand for the product rises from OQ to OQ1. So this is unitary elastic demand, exactly equal. Proportionate change in demand is exactly equal to proportionate change in price. This type of elasticity is generally possible, second type, in case of luxurious good. This type of elasticity is generally possible in case of normal goods. So obviously यहाँ क्या हो जाएगा, 1 equal to 1, 5%, 5%, क्या आंसर आएगा, 1. Okay, so unitary elastic or demand or elasticity is equal to unity. मतलब percentage change in demand is equal to percentage change in price. Type number 4, relatively inelastic demand. This is very important. Relatively inelastic demand मतलब proportionate change in demand is less than proportionate change in price. Suppose price change by 10% and demand will change by only 5%. That is called relatively inelastic. Exactly opposite this. Okay. I am trying to explain. X-axis represents quantity demanded, y-axis represents price. Here we have drawn a flatter curve. So here we have to draw little bit steeper curve like this. Demand curve DD. P P1 Q Q1 for price. 10%, 5%. Okay, you can observe from the diagram that here x-axis represents quantity demanded, y-axis represents price. Original price is OP, original demand is OQ. Price falls from OP to OP1, demand for the product rises from OQ to OQ1. कौन सा डिस्टेंस कम है, डिमांड वाला. ओके, सो प्राइस चेंज हो रही है बट डिमांड इतनी ज्यादा चेंज नहीं हो रही है, बिकॉज दिस इज द एग्जांपल ऑफ relatively inelastic demand, and here value of elasticity is less than 1. This kind of elasticity is possible in case of essential commodities, huh? Basic commodities, listen there, like for example sugar, huh? Milk, huh? Edible oil, etc, etc. Suppose price of milk increase from rupees 40 per liter to डायरेक्ट ₹60 पर लीटर, 50% इंक्रीज हो गया. तो इसका मतलब यह है कि हमारी डिमांड 50% कम हो जाएगी? नहीं, वी आर नॉट एबल टू रिड्यूस अवर डिमांड एज प्रोपोर्शनेट विथ चेंज इन प्राइस. शुगर की प्राइस 3-4 साल में डबल हो गई, तो शुगर का कंजम्पशन हमने बंद कर दिया? नहीं. Of course, it will definitely affect to the poor classes or lower middle classes. But as these are essential commodity, we are not able to change our demand as proportion, the same proportion as change in price. Okay, so elasticity of this kind of product is relatively inelastic. सेम उसकी प्राइस अगर कम हो जाए तो इतना ज्यादा हम लोग परचेस नहीं करते उसको. सो दोनों डायरेक्शन में वो सेम है. Proportionate change in demand is less than proportionate change in price. That is known as relatively inelastic demand. Last type. Exactly. Here, perfectly inelastic demand. Perfectly inelastic demand मतलब whatever change in price, there is no change in demand. Generally, demand for the product not respond with change in price. ठीक है, सेंसिटिवनेस और रिस्पॉन्सिवनेस, मगर डिमांड कोई रिस्पॉन्ड ही नहीं करे, दैट इज कॉल्ड परफेक्टली इनलास्टिक डिमांड. एंड हियर हाउ टू ड्रॉ, दिस इज एक्स, quantity demanded, this is price. Okay, so this curve is vertically straight line, vertical straight line, demand curve dd. Price increase from P1 to P2 or P3, demand remains constant. That is called perfectly inelastic demand. एंड ऑब्वियसली अगर रिस्पॉन्स नहीं कर रहा है तो उसका वैल्यू कितना हो जाएगा, जीरो. सो योर इलास्टिसिटी, वैल्यू ऑफ इलास्टिसिटी इज जीरो. कैरिंग माय पॉइंट? हाउ this kind of elasticity is possible in the commodity like matchbox, salt, etc. These are essential commodities on the one hand. On the other hand, we are spending a very small proportion of our income on their consumption. तो इतना ज्यादा फर्क पड़ने वाला नहीं. Getting my point? Suppose price of matchbox increase from ₹1 to 150. It will it will not make no difference to us. Or price of salt increase from ₹10 per kg to ₹13 per kg or ₹15 per kg. We will not reduce the consumption. Why? Because these are essential commodities. On the other hand, हम उसके ऊपर कितना खर्च कर रहे हैं बहुत कम. Okay, so generally people don't change their demands. Their demand for the product generally do not change, or it will not respond with price. On the contrary, वो भी सही है कि सॉल्ट की प्राइस 15 रुपीज से फिर से 10 रुपये हो जाए तो इसका मतलब ये नहीं है हम लोग 200 किलो सॉल्ट परचेज कर लेंगे. गेटिंग माय पॉइंट? सो डिमांड फॉर द प्रोडक्ट विल नॉट respond with change in price. That is why it is called perfectly inelastic demand. So I am repeating. First type is perfectly elastic. Even at constant price, when demand for the product changes infinitely, that is called perfectly elastic demand, and value of elasticity is infinite. Second, relatively elastic demand. Proportionate change in demand is greater than proportionate change in price. Value of elasticity is greater than 1. Third, proportionate change in demand is exactly equal to proportionate change in price. 5%, 5%. It is known as unitary elastic demand. What is relatively inelastic demand? Proportionate change in demand is less than proportionate change in price. That is called relatively inelastic demand. 10% change in price, only 5%. And last, whatever change in price, there is no change in demand. Value of elasticity is 0. Here value of elasticity is less than 1. आज के लिए इतना रहेगा. Thank you very much.